Good afternoon, everybody. As I'm sure you're aware, it was announced this week that the provincial government has allowed for our region to progress to phase 2 of the reopening schedule. Now, this means that we are permitted, at least, to meet once again for worship services under the specified restriction guidelines provided to us by the province. Now, after such a long time in isolation and a vast array of different experiences and personal circumstances, there are a great many mixed feelings about what this might mean for our church family. And I want you to know that your leadership team here at Smiths Falls Free Methodist Church has been taking this new development very seriously. We have carefully and prayerfully considered a great deal of input leading to our decision, including many official statements from the health community and even the very helpful information that many of you offered through the online survey. And after much prayer-covered conversation, we have come to the decision that on Sunday, June 21st, we will open our doors to a restricted capacity worship service that will happen under the limited protection of some very specific sanitizing procedures and other health safety protocols, which I will outline for you in just a moment. Before I do that, however, there are some things that we want you to understand about this decision. First, we want you to understand what this is not. This is not going back to the way things were. In fact, for those who may wish to join us for service, you're going to find out immediately that although we will be having a worship service, it will look very different from what you're used to. This is also not an opportunity for you to reconnect with that long-awaited handshake or hug from the brother or sister that you've missed just oh so much. As you will see when I go over the protocols we're putting into place, we will be expecting you to observe social distancing while on the premises. And third, this is also not a declaration of safety. And please hear me on this one, because this is perhaps the most important thing for you to understand. Although the measures we are putting into place will help greatly to reduce the risk, the truth is no amount of sanitizing or social distancing will make a gathering like this completely safe. We will do everything we can to make the building safe for use, but in the end, you have to decide for yourself if it is worth the risk to come. Remember, we will still upload the service for you to watch from home. So, if you are in a high-risk category or you're still perhaps not quite sure what to do, I would personally encourage you to err on the side of caution and watch from home. Please don't ignore any feelings you might have about your personal safety just so you can rush back to church. We're not going anywhere. Now, let me help you understand what this is. This is an opportunity for those of us who are in a low-risk category to demonstrate good stewardship of this great blessing that's been offered us. We can be the church that does this well. 2, this is an opportunity to be an example of unity to others by setting aside personal opinions and preferences and accepting the responsibility placed on us to follow the new guidelines and health safety measures for our Sunday worship gathering. 3rd, and finally, this is a tremendous opportunity to express and demonstrate faith in uncertain times. We strongly encourage everyone to be wise in their decision-making, but to also consider the element of faith in every step of that journey. Now, what this means for us. I'm going to go through the protocols for you now, and there's a lot to take in. So I'll ask you for your continued patience as I go through it all. I want you to know that I will be sending this out in a PDF to the congregation so that you may familiarize yourself with our expectations before deciding what you want to do. Okay? Here we go. Number 1, we will have one service, which will be held at our regular service time of 10 a.m. on Sundays, beginning June 21st. That is a week and a few days from now. 2, the legal limit for our gatherings is 135 persons, which is 30% of our building's total seating capacity. We do not expect that so many will come at first, but it should be stated now that if we do reach capacity, we must then turn away any late comers. I'll apologize in advance if this happens to you, but there's really no way around that one. 3, entry to the building for worship on Sundays will only be allowed through the parking lot doors at the back. Exiting the building after service will only be allowed through the front doors by the office. This will limit touch surfaces and will keep everybody going in the same directions. 5, we are strongly encouraging everyone to wear a mask that covers both your nose and your mouth. If you do not have one, the church can provide you with one that you may keep for future visits. If you feel so strongly about not wearing one that you would refuse, I want you to know that we will honor your right to make that choice and will still accommodate you for service, but only in the overflow section at the back of the church. We are trying to think of everyone here and are trying to make as safe a space as possible for all who would come together for worship. Please remember that the heart of coming together in worship should never be about personal desires, opinions, or preferences. It is always to be from a position of unity and corporate love for God and for each other. So please respect our wishes and work with us to observe all of our safety protocols. Number 6, in a similar spirit, the standard 6-foot social distancing protocol is expected to be observed and maintained by all persons at all times while on the premises. We do understand that sometimes you may have to scooch by someone to get to your seat or whatever, just like you would do in the supermarket. But I remind you that this is a province-wide mandate for any gathering of any size. So please keep your distance. 7, upon arrival, you will be prompted to enter the building with proper spacing and go directly to the worship hall and have a seat in one of the designated pews, making sure to maintain proper distancing between your family and any other family that might be seated at the far end of the same pew. Number 8, also due to the social distancing protocols, there will not be any fellowship time after the service, nor can we have people hanging out in the foyer chatting with their friends. There just isn't enough space for us to hang out with our friends and maintain proper social distancing, no matter how much we may want it. To that end, all of the fellowship seating in our cafe, etc., will all be removed, and we will have an appointed usher there who will prompt people to keep moving towards their seats in the worship hall. If you want to socialize, we invite you and welcome you to ask a family to join you for lunch afterwards. But in the church, we're going to have to maintain our distance. Number 9, roped off pews are not to be used. This is a social distancing measure, and we ask that you would help you, by sitting somewhere else. This may mean, FYI, that you may not get to sit where you normally do. Number 10, there will not be any children's program running. Children will be expected to remain with their parents. Parents will be expected to keep their children with them at all times. We are putting together activity packages that will be sanitized for the children to give them something to do that would be fun during the service. Number 11, on Sundays, the children's ministry hallway, the office, boardroom, kitchen, and any other roped off areas will all be off limits. It is simply too big of a job to try and sanitize the entire church building at one time. Essentially, those coming to worship will enter the facility through the back door, as I said, go directly into the worship hall or overflow for the duration of the service, and then will depart from service by way of the front door by the office. During the rest of the week, ministries and persons using parts of the facility will be responsible for sanitizing all surfaces in all areas that they use. Number 12, we are strongly encouraging everyone to go to the washroom before coming to church. Washroom use on site at the church will be limited to the handicap washroom so that it can be completely sanitized after each and every use. Again, that children's ministry hallway, and that includes the his and hers washrooms, will remain off limits for all reasons. So please, take care of that business before you come to church. We're just trying to avoid big lineups developing for the washroom. 13, and finally, please use the hand sanitizer stations. They are many, they are everywhere. Now, in addition to all of that, there are some things that you can expect from us as well. We want you to know that we will have a team in place that will take care of sanitizing the church building before and after service, including but not limited to all of the hard surfaces on all of the pews, all door handles and frames, both outer doors and inner doorways, light switches, tabletops, and any other hard surfaces that people go near, like the sound booth, for example. We will have ushers stationed outside the doors as you come in the foyer, and in the worship hall to give you clear instructions about how to proceed. Please follow their directions. They're there to help you and to help all of us stay safe. We will have signage up all over the place to help you remember the safety protocols and to give directions associated with our health safety. We will have someone stationed in the hallway that will be responsible for sanitizing the washroom after each and every use, as I indicated earlier. That means taps, the sink, counter surfaces, toilet handle, toilet seats, light switches, door handles, and frames, etc. We will be also removing all Bibles, hymnals, Kleenex boxes, and other loose items from the pews. The truth is that they are potential touch points that can't be easily sanitized. And it's much easier to temporarily remove them than it is to deal with keeping them germ-free. Aside from the sanitized kids' activity kits, we will not be handing anything out. This includes announcements, invites, bulletins, or anything else like them. And finally, the main doors at both ends of the church will be propped open at the appropriate times, so you don't have to touch them to go through them. And that's it. Now, I know that's an awful lot to take in all at once, but we believe it's worth doing to make a return to corporate worship possible for those who are wanting to come. And if we work together and we honor the system that we've put in place for all of our well-being, then it's likely we'll continue to remain open. But as I said before, and as a final reminder, this reopening for corporate worship is not a declaration of safety. We will do everything we can to make the building safe for use, but in the end, you have to decide for yourself if it is worth the risk to be here. We will still upload the service for you to watch from home. So if you are in a high-risk category or you're still not quite sure what to do, I personally encourage you to err on the side of caution, as I said earlier, and watch the service from home. Please don't ignore your feelings about personal safety just so you can rush back to church, because as I said, we're not going anywhere. I'm going to send this announcement out in a PDF to the emails that I have on file for the church so that you may all have a copy, as I said earlier. And until I see you next time, I pray the Lord's peace upon you and that his many, many blessings over you. I hope to see you soon. Bye for now.